mostly B-17 Flying Fortresses and B-24 Liberators, launched from airfields across eastern England. But this time, they would not go alone. The escort force was the largest fighter cover ever assembled for a mission of this scale. More than 100 P-51 Mustangs from the 4th, 355th, and 357th Fighter Groups. Many of these squadrons had only recently converted from older aircraft and had logged fewer than a dozen missions in the Mustang. Their confidence in the plane was still forming, built more on hearsay than on long-term experience. Yet the math was compelling. Equipped with two 75-gallon drop tanks, the P-51B Mustang could now reach over 750 miles one way, enough to cover the bombers to Berlin and back. The key to this performance was the Mustang's exceptional aerodynamic design, a laminar flow wing that minimized drag, and a fuselage that kept weight low and lift high. The Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, manufactured under license by Packard in the U.S., provided high-altitude power unheard of in previous American fighters. Combined with the P-51's bubble canopy for unmatched visibility and its .650 caliber Browning machine guns, the Mustang was not just a long-range escort, it was a dogfighter, a killer. But none of that would matter if it couldn't survive the gauntlet of flak, fuel constraints, freezing temperatures, and coordinated German defense. This would be the Mustang's baptism of fire, over the very center of Hitler's Germany. That night, air crews were briefed. Weather conditions were marginal. Snow squalls over the continent. Winds at altitude pushing eastward. The forecast over Berlin itself was uncertain, a mix of broken clouds and clear patches. But the mission would proceed. It had to, because the bombing campaign was at a crossroads. Allied commanders, particularly General Jimmy Doolittle, had made a decisive shift in strategy. No longer would fighters be tethered to the bombers in tight formations. Now Mustangs would be unleashed, free to roam ahead, free to engage, free to seek out and destroy the Luftwaffe before it could even reach the bomber columns. This was a radical break, and the March 4 mission would be the first full expression of this aggressive doctrine. For the Luftwaffe, the stakes were just as high. Berlin was symbolic, a capital that had never been seriously threatened from the air. But German high command knew that if bombers could strike Berlin at will, civilian morale would collapse, and command structures could begin to fracture. And for the men on both sides, there was something deeper. Flying to Berlin meant crossing into the heart of the enemy, further than most had ever flown. It meant 5 to